All right, I will start. Go ahead. You're live.
What's up, everyone? Welcome back to another Bold Call Fantasy Football Podcast. Today, we are looking at the NFC players per team to draft or avoid. Bold Call.
Got the best coaches in the game. We really ain't playing. We regroup up in the Slack chat where the coaches debrief. We be piecing these puzzles, occupy the chunk of the pie. Ain't no lie when we hit the block. Helmets, casket is top.
All right, last time you saw us, we were doing the AFC teams, and now we're looking at the NFC players per team to draft or avoid. Before we get into that, of course, we want to talk about our sponsor, Thrive Fantasy. Says they're doing something special this week, my man. So check this out. We already have our promo code with Thrive, which sets you up for $100 or 100% deposit match up to $100 deposit. You sign up at Thrive, make a deposit, they'll match it up to $100, which is nice. It's a prop fantasy site. And, you know, if you can get the free $100, that's awesome. But this week, only because they have a ton of overlay, and it is a ton, what they've done is they just called us up and they said, you know what? For anybody who signs up this week, we're also going to give them a $20 ticket to the big 100K Sunday opening week contest and another $20 ticket to the Thursday night game. So basically, you make any deposit all $50 or more. They not only match your deposit, they're giving you $40 worth of contest tickets free. And let me tell you something. I just took a look at the Sunday contest, the 100,000. It is not going to fill. There's going to be massive overlay in this thing. It's ridiculous. So I'm actually really excited about it because only 256 entries out of 5,555. They will not fill this. So there's going to be lots of free money. Go check out Thrive Fantasy. Use promo code DFSARMY. You sign up for an account. They are a prop site. So basically, I was just looking at how it works. Again, you know, you're going to get 5 or 6 questions to answer that are just over-under questions, like Russell Wilson yards, 265 says over-under. Over. There you go. That's the favorite. Okay, Christian McCaffrey, 71.5 rushing yards, over-under.
Oh, that's a smash. Against the Jets, he's going to have 120 rushing yards. This is going to be a big Christian McCaffrey week.
He's going to town. How about this one? This one's easy. Stephon Diggs, over under 7.5 receptions.
Who are they playing?
They're playing the Steelers. Steelers,
I'm going to say
to man defense. They do not play zone.
I'm going to say Diggs gets off to a slow start, and and I'm going to go under on that one.
The over is the favorite, but there you go. But here's one that was easy answer for me. Dalvin Cook, over under 0.5 touchdowns.
Oh, he's going to score this week. I mean, he's their offense. He's their whole offense.
He's a lock to score. So, like a lot of these spots, they seem pretty reasonably
very soft,
easy to call. 2.5 touchdowns for Mahomes. Yes or no? Passing.
I'm going to say that the passing game gets off to a little bit of a slow start in Kansas City.
Wait. They added in passing touchdowns or interceptions.
So it's 2.5?
Counts 2.5.
Oh, that's an over because there should be a shootout. I just fear that they get down on the goal line and that they do that Travis Kelce reverse, Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Yeah. I think Mahomes gets off to a slow start, and he's actually one of the players that I'm telling DFSARMY members to attack in single QB and super flex after a slow start to week 1 because everyone, even the DFS community, is really high on him this week in a shootout with the Cleveland.
Yeah, it's the highest projected game on the slate. And here's another one. I mean, and this is 50-50 odds, which is interesting. Tyreek Hill to score a touchdown, yes or no?
I mean, the favorite has got to be yes, so I'll fade that and say no.
Yeah, but one of the cool things with this format is you got to answer a few of these questions, but you can create correlation. You want to do Mahomes with Tyreek Hill, that kind of thing. So anyway, check out Thrive, promo code DFSARMY.
Yeah.
Get all the free stuff, tickets. The tickets are ridiculous. You're going to get $40 worth of tickets, another $50 deposit match on a $50 deposit. So basically, if you put in $50, they're giving you $90 worth of stuff for free. It's crazy. All right, let's get into it. We are looking at the NFC team players per team to draft or avoid. Now, says this is the format that you created for our AFC. Tell me a little bit again about how we're going to do this.
So what we're going to do is we're going to go through each team in the NFC. And if you didn't see our AFC episode, just go back into the YouTube feed. I'll link it in the video description below, and you can see this for AFC. Now, it doesn't matter if you've drafted already or you still have a draft coming up tonight or tomorrow. This is still good because then you'll hear us talk about players that you already drafted. So you can be like, yeah, I got that guy. Or, oh, damn it, I got that guy and they hate him. So this is still going to be useful no matter if you drafted or not. We're going to go through each team, and quickly, the Geek and I are going to give you one player that were smashed at his ADP. We loved him. We drafted him. One player we avoided at ADP, and one player that we think could be a little bit sneaky. Now, it doesn't have to be a late player. We could be like, in our AFC episode, we talked about Josh Jacobs, and the 6th round now is a sleeper because it's all upside in the 6th round. So
the
we're going to
key
spend about
factor here is against ADP because every player has value at some point.
Right, exactly. And even, when we talked about like Stephon Diggs, like he's a draft him. Of course, you're going to draft Stephon Diggs, but Geek was talking about how he wanted to draft him in the 1st round, which again is not a nutty thing to do. And you passed on him in our draft last night.
We were in a draft, and I was staring at Stephon Diggs, and I wanted him, but who fell even further? Zeke in the 2nd round. So it was a really tough decision, but I did have to go with Zeke Elliott, midway through the 2nd round, just because. How do you not? He also was a smash there. You know what I'm saying?
Yep. So let's do this. Let's do this. And by the way, after this podcast, you and I are going to need to figure out in our dynasty league we're in together. I need that tight end still. So Zach Ertz, can we hammer that out today? Because the season starts, and I just don't have a tight end. I need one. So
gotta pay. Gotta want to play. You gotta pay.
Yeah, I'm ready to. I have my wallets open. My wallet's open.
You want to play?
Yeah,
you gotta pay.
Yeah, I'm not going to try. I have a few deals going, but if you and I can work something out for like one of your 2nd or 3rd guys, I'm open to that. So, by the way, in our draft last night, I'm a little not pissed off. In the 3rd round of our Superflex, I took Justin Jefferson, passed on Russell Wilson. That's my big regret. And I was looking about who's the wide receiver I would have gotten. So if I would have taken Wilson, I would have gotten Allen Robinson. But instead, I got Jefferson and Trevor Lawrence. I mean, who knows?
But
I'd rather.
Worse. Yeah, I mean,
you think way worse?
Yeah, you much rather have Wilson and
Robinson.
Keenan or Allen Robinson. It's just
Keenan Allen. I got either way. Yeah, no, that was
just way worse.
And I just thinking if you've drafted in all your drafts, you're gonna make errors. Don't get hung up on it. You just don't know. And obviously, looking at this right now on week 1, I heard a great, it's funny, we're all anticipating week 1. I heard Sigmund Bloom on his podcast. He had the perfect description of these next few days. He said it's like waiting for the season is like being strapped into a roller coaster. They seatbelt you in, and you hear the click, click
going up.
Click,
going up.
Click. And then as soon as we get down, everyone just starts screaming because the season started. And, so I that was a really great description of it. Man, we need to get started. Ready? All right. So NFC, we're going to start with the NFC teams. We're going to go to the NFC East. We'll start with our East Coast. So start with the Cowboys. Quickly, Geek, draft them, avoid them, sleeper.
All right. The draft him is Amari Cooper, and it's not cheese balls. He is going. For me, Amari Cooper has been the last of the elite tier of wide receivers. I put him in the top 15. He's actually going after that. So he's going so far, especially behind CeeDee Lamb, who is my avoid, because CeeDee Lamb just should not be going ahead of Amari Cooper for me. They're the same guy. Amari Cooper's still the number 1 wide receiver. Love CeeDee Lamb overall, but CeeDee Lamb's going in the 2nd round. I got Amari Cooper in that draft yesterday, I think in the 5th round.
Yeah, super flex. So that's
But Lamb was gone in the 2nd round or the 3rd. So It was a 2-round differentiator. That's it right there for me. I love Lamb, not taking him that far ahead of Cooper. As a matter of fact, I don't think he'll have a better season than Cooper. The avoid?
No, you said that Lamb is the avoid. So who's your sleeper?
Sleeper on the team is Blake Jarwin, tight end, going super late. He was set to be the guy last season.
And in Jarwin's first game, before he got hurt,
he was doing great.
He caught 3 for 3, and one of those was a touchdown.
Yeah, he was doing great. Gets hurt. Dalton Schultz comes in, has a nice year, but Blake Jarwin is the quote athletic tight end on that team. And let's see him step up this. You can get him as a TE. He's available after the top 24 tight ends go. Very easy pick.
I'm going to take the Giants. Draft him is Barkley for me at this point. I mean, he's falling out of the top 6 picks. They said he's playing week 1, so there's no reason, even if he gets off to a slightly slow start, you and I, everyone believes if we drafted again week 3, Barkley's going to be the 1, 2, or 3 pick. I mean, so if you were drafting tonight, or if you drafted Barkley in the second round in your 1 quarterback league, score for you. That's an absolute draft him. The avoid him is so my avoid him is Daniel Jones in 1 quarterback leagues. I know everyone thinks like
even 2 quarterback leagues.
I mean, I have him in a 2 quarterback league. It does dry up. He's my QB3. So, it's you can call him a sleeper because he did have a good year, or you can call him and avoid him. I'm trying to avoid him, but full disclosure, I did draft Mo. Bobby Klinkert says Danny Dimes, as our friend Chris Lissett calls him, Danny Bitcoin. Or it could end up being Danny Dogecoin.
Doge. Yeah, he's Danny Doge.
And I think Bobby likes him because he won him $1 million. So it's kind of, I would love him too if he did that. The avoid him is going to be Evan Ingram if it's not Danny Dimes, because Evan Ingram's already banged up. The guy can't catch. He's just not good at football, even though he's an athletic freak. And if you need a sleeper, I've been drafting Kadarius Toney in the last round. It's an easy cut. Nobody knows. Last year, Brandon Ayuk, no one liked him, and he was in the first round of the real NFL draft. Kadarius Toney could end up being nobody thinks he's going to be good, including myself. But in the last round, if you're just looking for a sleeper that you're going to get a quick reveal on, in week 1, if he has 1 target, just drop him. But what happens if he gets 6 for 60 in week 1 and maybe scores? So I would take Kadarius Toney as a sleeper. Geek, you're up on either. You could pick the Eagles or Washington.
I'll go Washington. So just run through this. They're really fairly priced, but my draft him is going to be Antonio Gibson.
Yeah,
I've gotten
no matter the price. I like
no
first
matter
round.
the price.
Listen,
first round. Antonio Gibson is falling into the second round. You can get him there, right? But he shouldn't be. Right now, he projects as a workhorse. The coach has promised this will happen. Will it really happen? Let's see. Last season, he was 16 touches per game. If he can increase that at all, we're talking super stud. The guy can catch. He is a touchdown machine, or he was last season. And now he's got a team with a much better quarterback that tends to be a much more efficient style offense. So the arrow's pointing up. I remember when Christian McCaffrey was in year 2, you could get him at the end of round 2. And by the end of that season, everybody knew this was the number 1 player in fantasy football for the next few years. We might get something like that out of Antonio Gibson. So you got to get Gibson on your team this season. He is on most of my teams.
Who's your avoid over there?
My avoid,
Logan Thomas.
I don't know if these guys
you
are
like him?
Really. Logan Thomas.
Is Ryan Fitzpatrick an avoid because he can get benched in week 7?
No. I like Fitzpatrick. I mean, it's just like the.
How about Curtis Samuel? Is he a good
Curtis
avoid?
Samuel. I'm going to call Curtis Samuel.
He's getting drafted in the 8th round, dude.
Yeah, I don't like Curtis Samuel there at all. So Curtis Samuel, the avoid. A little bit of injury stuff going on. Plus, they drafted De'Ami Brown. They have some other names there at wide receiver, and I just don't think there'll be enough volume on this team.
It's always Curtis Samuel. Everyone loves Curtis Samuel. I hate that guy as a fantasy player. I've never had anything good happen with him.
Gimmicky guy. The main thing though is there's just not enough volume in this. I love Terry McLaurin, so there's not enough value in that offense to support Curtis Samuel being consistent. And your sleeper. How about we'll go with De'Ami Brown as a sleeper? He looked good in the preseason when he's played. He's going to be the WR3 on the team, and you're getting him with your last pick. Again, De'Ami Brown only becomes useful, really, if Curtis Samuel kind of goes out. So it's not a player that I'm super excited by, but
all right, fair enough.
He's a rookie wide receiver, and it's tough. There's no real sleeper on this team. Do you have one? I mean, J.D. McKissick? Not really.
Yeah, I mean, you said it all. Let's move over to the Eagles, where I can tear through it pretty quick. I mean, just thumbs up me on every time you agree, thumbs down me if you disagree. Jalen Hurts is to draft him at ADP. I mean, come on, 9th round. The guy is the 2nd best running quarterback in the NFL, maybe the 3rd at worst behind Lamar and Kyler Murray.
My most drafted player this year by far.
Yeah, Jalen Hurts is a draft him every format for redraft. Just go get him.
Let me throw a factoid out there on him. One of maybe 3 or 4 true running quarterbacks in the National Football League. There are not many of these guys. You want all of them, but he's the cheapest one. Very important.
Yep. Okay. My avoid him is easily Dallas Goddard. He's getting drafted as like the tight end 7. I'm really worried about him with Zach Ertz there. I'm echoing a little bit, just so you know. You may want to turn down your volume, it's the drop. So, yeah, I would just absolutely not draft Dallas Goddard. I don't even think I have him on my board at all. If you want to get him as like TE 18, 19, that's fine. But where he's going, he just can't. And we love him. If there was Zach Ertz wasn't there, he would be a top 5, top 6 tight end for us. Absolutely. And the sleeper is Zach Ertz. He's going as tight end 20. And Zach Ertz has had a season where he's had 115, 116 catches before. He's 30 years old. He's younger than Gronk. He's younger than Kelsey. Everyone said this guy is dust. He's made good with the team. I think that Zach Ertz, if you're playing the punt on tight end game, is absolutely, he's viable. I mean, it could go wrong. It's not someone you're super excited about, but in that area where you've played the complete, like, hey, I'm going to go get running backs, quarterbacks, and all that stuff, and you just, why not, right? Just why not?
If you look at the games that Zach Ertz was actually playing, the reason we have a perception of him being dust or not being good anymore was because he was being drafted as a top 5 tight end, and he was kind of producing as a top 12 guy or top 10 guy. You know, he was getting 10 points. He wasn't, last season before he got hurt, he wasn't producing like the 25-point games. But remember, it's Carson Wentz. Carson Wentz sucked. So there's that. Right? Zach Ertz is 30. He's not this old tight end. He's 30. Tight ends go strong until 34, 35. So really good prime candidate for a bounce back season.
Okay, man, you are up on the Cardinals in the NFC West.
All right, Cardinals. Draft them. I need a second. Obviously, I love Kyla Murray, but I don't draft him at his ADP. It's too high in single QB leagues. I'm waiting for.
So he's your avoid him.
No, I have a different avoid him. So
but you got to rip through these. The people.
Well, I got to think for a second because you know what, that team doesn't pop in my head.
All right, so you want me to give you a different team, or I'll take the Cardinals. Okay,
yeah, you're ready. What are you prepared with it? Like I need a second.
For me to draft them
through it.
Well, let me rip through this. Okay. Kyla Murray. All formats. He's going in the 4th or 5th round. I'm drafting him. He's my QB3, hands down. There is a clear tier break between him and Lamar Jackson because Lamar Jackson is losing his weapons left and right. Love Lamar Jackson. He would have been my QB3 had everyone been healthy. So after Kyla Murray, it drops off. So you need to get him if you want an elite quarterback. So he's my draft him. My avoid him. Rondelle Moore, I love the player, but he's moving up into the 8th round. He is an absolute avoid at that ADP. Okay, he's a gadget player. I want to see him do it running routes first before I believe it. And if you were getting him in the 11th and 12th round, no problem. That would be absolutely fine. But in the 8th round, there's too many good players that are sure things. Sleeper-wise, hold your nose. This is going to be so gross right now.
Don't say AJ Brown.
No. You know me. I'm a James Conner guy. You're getting him in the 11th round, and he's a starting running back. He's being treated as if he's a backup. He's the starting running back. He may have limited upside with Chase Edmonds there, but he is the favorite to lead the team in rushing touchdowns. So he would be my sleeper. Okay, Geek, you are up. I'm going to give you a choice here. You could take the Rams, the 49ers, or the Seahawks.
All right. Let's go Rams. And
who's your draft?
My draft him is Darrell Henderson. I'm still on the Darrell Henderson train. Period. Okay, now you're getting him in the 7th round. Every time he's played and started for this team, he has smashed. Plus, you can easily back him up with Sony Michel, who I'm putting them together as a pairing because Sony Michel's already there in the 11th round. So you get Darrell, you get Sony Michel, you lock up the Rams running game this season. No problems, right? My avoid him is Matt Stafford. I'm just not into Matt Stafford. I'd rather have Jalen Hurts. I have no shares of Matt Stafford. I think he'll do fine this year.
So he's an avoid him at his ADP? You want to
because he's going QB 10 or 11. He's still in the top 10 or 11.
You know who I thought you were going to say? I thought you were going to say Robert Woods going on the 3-4
No, I like
turn.
Robert Woods. No, my avoid him is Stafford. I just don't have any exposure to him because Jalen Hurts is right there, and Stafford seems to go ahead of Hurts.
Right.
So I'm just waiting on Jalen Hurts.
You want the running QB. I get it.
Yeah, I want the running QBs.
Who's your sleeper?
Pocket guy. Sleeper on this team, Van Jefferson.
Really I love that.
Very, very late in your draft. I could have gone with Tyler Higbee, but I don't think he's a sleeper. I love Tyler Higbee as well. But Van Jefferson is that guy you can get right at the end of the last pick. And you know what? Cooper Kupp has injury history. Van Jefferson is a 2nd-round pedigree wide receiver. No one's thinking about him. I actually think Van Jefferson will win you some DFS tournaments this season. So keep that name in your mind.
I like the Van Jefferson call. It's got some good pedigree.
Do you think it was Higbee? Like, do you think it should have been Higbee there? I just think Higbee's not a sleeper.
No, I agree with you there. I totally agree with you there. Okay, so finishing out this division, we have the 49ers and the Seahawks. I'll take the 49ers. For me, the draft is going to be Brandon Ayuk. There's a chance that Brandon Ayuk ends up in that tier with CeeDee Lamb, Amari Cooper next year. He's on the way up. He's ascending. He's still in the 7th or 6th round of most drafts where the people are unsure because there's multiple targets there. And I understand. But Brandon Ayuk is an alpha wide receiver. He has first round draft pedigree, and he's a yards after the catch monster. My best comparable
they got mouths to feed over there, though.
And you know what? He's going to be the biggest mouth of them all. I don't care about George Kittle, who is a good segue, being my avoid him, and I'll tell you why in a moment. But yeah, Brandon Ayuk, my best comparable to him was peak Odell Beckham, can catch those slants, take him to the house. George Kittle, I like the player, but I just don't like drafting him in the 2-3 turn where he goes in one tight end leagues. I don't even like Darren Waller for that reason. I love Darren Waller, the player, but in the first 3 rounds, I want to get a good solid core of running backs and wide receivers. So my avoid him is Kittle, just because the ADP is a little expensive. You and I both like some of the tight ends a little bit later, and the sleeper. I mean, he's not a sleeper in the sense. I'm echoing again, so you have to plug in like a headphone, or else it's just going to constantly echo. So the sleeper is Raheem Mostert. I mean, yeah, we're getting a big echo, just so you know.
I think it's just on your end. I don't think so.
And the audience
commenting. What's that? If you guys hear an echo, let us know.
Okay. So we're right now we're going over our sleeper for San Francisco. Raheem Mostert is the starting running back on a team we think has the best running game in the entire NFL. He's going in the 7th and 8th round. We know he's like a sports car. If you ride him too hard, he's going to break down. You're going to have to bring him into the garage. But while he lasts, for his price, Raheem Mostert is still a legitimate sleeper in 2021. You're up on Seattle, Geek. I hope you thought this through.
All right, here we go. Seattle. Draft him. DK Metcalf. I don't care where this guy goes in your draft. He has the ability to go all the way up to WR1 this season. He's a touchdown machine. If Russ is cooking this year, if he's cooking, and we think he might be cooking this year, we think there will be a cookout in Seattle. It's going to be DK Metcalf scoring all the tutties. I love that they throw only to 2 guys on that team. That really helps. The avoid him for me is Chris Carson. He's just a boring running back where you get him. He's yeoman-like. I think he'll be fine. He's going to split time with Penny quite a bit.
And Alex Collins is there too. I don't know
if Alex Collins is a real threat, but
no, I think that Alex Collins is not a threat to be fantasy relevant, but he's a threat to hurt. He's like a Malcolm Brown type.
Come in, get a couple carries and stuff.
And he's just going to hurt. And those carries could be on the 2-yard line.
Like, I'm more concerned with Penny. I actually don't think Penny is that bad of a player.
But he's a battering ram. You understand? Like, Alex Collins is the guy he's the first guy in Braveheart. He's that first wave of soldiers that just goes and automatically gets
because of the video of him doing the river dance.
Oh, I didn't see that. I didn't see that.
Did you see he did the river dance? He would go river dance lessons to improve his footwork. The Irish jig. There he is. Yeah, he's awesome. He did the river dance. I love that about Alex Collins. So my avoid is Chris Carson. He also always gets hurt. He just always gets hurt. So I don't like him right where he's at. There are some players I like, Gus Edwards, that you can get in that zone that I like a little bit more. And then my sleeper on this team, I mean, Tyler Lockett is the sleeper on the team, guys. No one likes Tyler Lockett. Everybody thinks he sucks. He's stinky. He has down games, but that dude produced multiple games of 35 plus fantasy points. You're getting him as like WR 20 plus, maybe 22 or 23. Tyler Lockett's great. He's on the right.
Let me ask you this. What side of I got a question for you, Geek. If I offered you this bet, which side of the bet would you take? Total fantasy points for the year. Either DK Metcalf in PPR or Lockett plus 50 points. Which side of that would you take?
I mean, that's a lot of points you're giving. 50 is a lot.
Okay, so
I'm probably taking Lockett plus 50.
And it's not even a question. It's not even a question. That's my point, is that if you don't like Tyler Lockett, then you should be happy to take the 50 points, right? That's 2 monster games I'm giving you. right? 2 monster games.
Yeah.
But wait a second. If you think that's a runaway bet, that means you think those wide receivers are closer together than they should be. And so that was my point, is that I'm giving you 2 free games of monster production.
They don't throw to that many people. It's a condensed offense on the team. It's Lockett, it's Metcalf, and you'll get Gerald Everett getting some catches. Everett could have been a sleeper there too, but they don't throw it to that many people. Yeah. So when Russ is cooking, I just went through a back test of last season, and a lot of the weeks, the winning lineup for the Millie Maker was Russ, Metcalf, and Lockett, that trio. So that trio scores together.
Yep. Very good correlative play for you DFSers out there. So NFC North, I'm going to take the Lions, since I think the highest on the Lions of anyone other than Lions fans, or who might actually be down on them. For me, the draft them is, you say it for me, Geek. Just say the name. Is DeAndre Swift. DeAndre Swift.
What's that meme of that guy who standing there like upset at like some Ohio team?
DeAndre Swift is one of the best running backs in the NFL. There's obviously a huge bias against him because the Lions are perceived as an all-time bad team. I don't think the Lions are as bad as we think they are. They have a very good offensive line. They drafted the best offensive lineman prospect in the last half decade. They're going to run the ball. DeAndre Swift is an exceptional pass catcher. Jared Goff was the #1 overall pick. Did not pan out well in Los Angeles, but it did take them to a Super Bowl. He is good enough. He is a younger version of Andy Dalton. I think that DeAndre Swift, who's healthy for week
comparison,
right? I mean, which is fine to run an offense. I mean, Cincinnati made playoff runs with Andy Dalton. They were never any good as far as, big time advancing into the playoffs. But people are acting like that this is the word. This is like Sam Darnold under Adam Gase. I mean, that's not what this is. So draft DeAndre Swift at his ADP, which is now in the 4th round, late 3rd round. It's every time. Avoid him. Avoid him is you can laugh at me. Avoid him is a wide receiver.
The whole team? That's everyone.
Avoid him. There really isn't an avoid him because nobody wants these players. But in a super flex league, if you can avoid Jared Goff and just get someone else, that's fine. But again, it's
drafting Jared Goff. That's not an avoid him. He is still available
in a super. I said in the super flex leagues. I know
the draft.
Well, that's my point. Is that there's really not an avoid him because nobody is getting drafted on this team at a bad ADP. So I know that's like a very bad way, but like who would be an avoid him on this team?
Swift is the avoid him.
Okay, so for me, and then obviously the sleeper on this team is if you are fading Swift, you need to draft Jamal Williams. I mean, you just have to. So if you think Swift is terrible, or if you think he's going to break down in some way, then just take Jamal Williams in the 9th round.
Is the correct choice here. Here's the difference.
But
I like Jamal. I gotta tell the reasoning here because I like Jamal. Jamal Williams is the play because he's going to get the same number of snaps as Swift anyway. And Swift, you already saw, he got hurt. He was hurt going into week 1. Even a slight injury to Swift, Jamal Williams becomes a workhorse, pass-catching running back. He will help your team without Swift in there. So he's got that massive, like, prime RB1 upside for a handcuff running back price point. I really like Jamal Williams, and I think he could be a guy that, with the right set of circumstances, is actually your RB2, and you're happy with it all season long.
All right. Bobby Klinkert's favorite team. We're going to go with the Bears. So why don't you lead us off? We already know who's your draft them for the Bears.
My draft them all day is Montgomery. I've been all over this kid. He's just going. I'm not going to say he's a top 10 running back, but
why not?
In the last few weeks.
Why not?
Well, he could rise up there. Well,
that's my point.
We saw in the last few weeks of the 2020 season, he rose up to like RB4 by PPR points. Was smashing. Now he's coming back. Better offense. They'll get rid of Andy Dalton within the first couple weeks, and I'll get to my sleeper in a second. My avoid him here. I don't have an avoid him on this team. I like everything about the ADPs on the team. I'm trying to think through.
Wait a second. I can give you the avoid him right here, and this is going to get us a lot of venom right here. Okay, so
wait. Who's your avoid? Because I've got a sleeper.
Yeah, I think that the price on Mooney has gotten a little too high. He's in the 7th round. I like Darnell Mooney, but I think that Cole Kmet can end up being the second best receiving option on this team. So we like Mooney. It's just that how many targets is he going to get? 80 targets?
So at that level, I have not wound up with any shares of Darnell Mooney. It's possible because he's in a range where I still like some of the other players. So that's fine as an avoid, but we do like Darnell Mooney. Maybe he's a little too high. I know I don't have any exposure to him and I like it. But my sleeper,
yeah, like that's my point. It's like we both like Mooney, but we don't have him on any of our teams, so that means we avoided him.
You're right. Yeah, that is a good avoid. Just that ADP, maybe it's a little too high. There's other players.
If he was going in the 12th round, he would be on a lot of your teams.
My sleeper, and I've got more than one. You mentioned Cole Kmet already. I like Justin Fields as my sleeper this season. He is my favorite second quarterback pick. Listen, Dalton will not be starting long, and you are getting another one of the few true rushing quarterbacks in the league very, very late in your draft. He is going to lead teams to fantasy football championships. And all you're doing is you got to bench him for the first 2 or 3 weeks while they let Andy Dalton, creak around out there. Dalton, as has said before, they're playing the Rams week 1. Dalton might not make it through that game because he's going to look like shit against that defense.
For you DFSers, I'm not a DFS expert.
Well,
like the Geek is
DFS playing.
What I'm saying is that's what I'm saying. Like you guys are the experts. I'm caveat it by saying I'm a casual. I am starting Justin Fields week 1 against the Rams in my captain spot. And when Andy Dalton gets benched,
I'll allow it.
Yeah, and when Andy Dalton gets benched in the first quarter and Fields comes in and lights them up, and I'm $1 million richer, you will not see me on the NFL podcast anymore. I'm going to be on.
It's still the Rams defense, and you're still only getting half a game worth of Fields. So I don't love the play, but what I do love is Fields over the course of an entire season as a rushing quarterback that you picked up with one of the last pick, because your league mates are stupid. They don't listen to the bowl call, and they don't know that Fields will be starting within the first couple weeks. All right. Now, speaking of DFS, I just want to mention over at DFSARMY, we are running our kickoff special. We never do this. We're doing it. Last few days until the season starts, today through Sunday, kickoff special. Either the VIP or Core 4. Core 4 is like Core 4 sports, baseball, basketball, golf, and football. Or our VIP covers all sport membership. 20% off with promo code kickoff. So go to DFSARMY, sign up as a VIP right now. This is the time, bro. Tomorrow night, first showdown of the season. You don't want to not be in DFSARMY. My boy Bobby Wow, who is in the chat right here, has done the cheat sheets and notes. Tonight, we will be making our first showdown breakdown episode of the season. Stay tuned for that. That's coming tonight via DFSARMY VIP only. So you've got to be in the group to start destroying FanDuel and DraftKings. You want to win. You're sick of losing on FanDuel and DraftKings. I know you are. You're sick of making deposits. We can help you compete like a pro. Starting tonight, showdown tomorrow. Use promo code kickoff. It's 20% off your dues. You got to do it.
All right, here we go. Green Bay Packers. So my draftum is, I know Davante Adams is like going in the first round or the 1-2, but I'm okay if you want to draft Davante Adams at pick 4 in your draft. Now you're saying, wait a second, because I'm taking Christian McCaffrey, Dalvin Cook, and Alvin Kamara. But after that, the running back situation is uncertain. And as we've talked about, there's no more money in the bank player than Davante Adams. He is close
10
to
targets, a touchdown every single game.
So he's a draft him. We're okay taking him as high as pick 4. And if you wanted to take him above any of those other 3 running backs, I wouldn't talk you out of it. But that's my point. I have him 4th overall.
You got a really good sleeper on this team.
Oh, good. Yeah. I mean, so my avoid him, and it's not because I don't like Aaron Rodgers or think he's the GOAT. It's just that if you're drafting Aaron Rodgers expecting 48 touchdowns again, I think that's not going to happen. So if you just draft him understanding that Tom Brady might have more passing touchdowns than him this year, and he's getting pushed up a little bit, Aaron Rodgers, he's going into like the 6th, 7th round. Like I'd rather have Justin Herbert over him, but it's close. And also in your home leagues that Aaron Rodgers is a name brand, so he definitely gets pushed up a little bit. I would avoid him, take Herbert, take Russell Wilson a round or 2 later. And my sleeper, I'm going to go a little deep here. He's probably on the waiver wire in your league. And I still like Marquez Valdes-Scantling. So we're sharing a brain there. Yeah. I mean, this is the year that, Green Bay wide receivers typically take a couple of years to break out. Scantling has showed enough, and he is going to, he's going to have those games where he gets 3 catches for 98 yards and 2 touchdowns. And I expect, I would not be shocked if Marquez Valdes-Scantling becomes more consistent this year. I mean, remember, Davante Adams, when they drafted him, was considered a bust for the first couple of years. So it sounds like we're sharing a brain. I saw the Geek light up. He likes Scantling too. We're going to keep it moving, Geek. We're going to move into the, we didn't do the Vikings, right? We didn't do the Vikings. So you could take the Vikings.
All right, here we go. Vikings. the draft him, Dalvin Cook at all costs. He has the lowest bust rate of any player in the National Football League over the past few seasons. What that means is he has delivered expectations based on his draft position on a per game basis, even more, just a little bit more than Christian McCaffrey has. So Dalvin Cook is the easy draft him on this team. The avoid him is Kirk Cousins. Kirk Cousins, I like him, but on a team like the Vikings that relies on the run so often, what's going to happen with Cousins is he's going to give you a couple of really great games over the course of the season, but when they can rely on the run, they will. So you're going to end up with these games where you only get 12 or 13 fantasy points because they'll just lean on that run. So Cousins is still kind of going in the top 20 of quarterbacks overall. And to me, there's too many duds floating around in his sort of operation to mess with. My sleeper, and I know it's a tight pool here, but it's Adam Thielen. Adam Thielen is a touchdown machine. He's going really, really late in the draft.
And let me just underline something you just said. So when you're talking about Adam Thielen's a sleeper, if you're just tuning in now, you're like, Adam Thielen's a 5th round pick. He's not a sleeper. What we're talking about is that Adam Thielen is probably going to produce like a 5th rounder, like a 3rd rounder. Nobody wants him. So he is a sleeper within the context of your draft. So that's a really sharp sleeper.
It's important to understand with the Vikings, what they do. I get this from the DFS side. They only throw to 2 people on the team. They're one of the most, if not the most condensed offense in the National Football League. There's no team that focuses on just a couple guys. They don't really have a tight end that we need to worry about right now. So I mean, Chris Herndon, there's no one there that we really are worrying about. So both wide receivers in games where they're throwing tend to excel. That's why I love Justin Jefferson, but you got to pay a 2nd round price for him. There are other really great wide receivers.
Let me ask you this. If Jefferson falls into that like 3rd round, so let's say he's like 3.2, are you signing off on him there?
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah.
It's just a question of like, as long as I don't need to take him if there's 5 or 6 other really elite wide receivers that I think are kind of the same.
Well, let me ask you this.
Brown is still there. Well, I'll take A.J. Brown.
Would you rather have Hopkins or Justin Jefferson?
I think Hopkins is. I take Hopkins over Jefferson.
I had that decision last night. I passed on Hopkins. You ended up getting him. I took Justin Jefferson. I think I agree. Like now that I'm analyzing the draft a little
Jefferson's great. He's great.
Right,
also.
but I'd rather have Hopkins. And
Hopkins
you had him.
Get more. Hopkins will average more targets because his team throws a little bit more and they focus on him, but maybe not. Like I could see Justin Jefferson having a better year than Hopkins easily.
Yeah, like, but if you want money in the bank, I mean, we talked about
Devontae in the bank. We know we're getting 10 targets a game. We know he's GOAT level good at football. Yeah. Like he's been doing it for years. That you can't go wrong. I'm happy with either of those guys.
We're moving on to the last division, NFC South. I'm going to let you go first this time. You can take either the Falcons, the Panthers, the Saints, or the Bucks.
I mean, let's just start with the Bucks. And my draft him is Antonio Brown. He's just the same as the other wide receivers on that team.
Did you see the latest reports on him? Bruce Arians is like, this looks like peak Antonio Brown.
Yeah, I mean, let's see. But let's see it for real. The coach speak is...
But you'd rather him say it than not say it.
I like hearing it's peak Antonio Brown. But I mean, guys, Antonio Brown, why is he going...
Hey, thumbs up this video right now if you believe in Antonio Brown. Let's get some good energy going here for Antonio Brown. Yeah. If you ever had Antonio Brown on your team, you won fantasy football championship. So let's thumbs up this video. Let's hit that heart button and let's show a little love for Antonio Brown, baby. Let's go. Okay. Baby. Who's your avoid him?
My avoid him is Mike Evans. I'm sorry, but the dude did all of his production over the course of 4 games last season, and it made him look a much, much better and more consistent than he is. He did win you those actual leagues, those 4 weeks, which was great, but he's not really very productive on a game-to-game basis. He's wildly touchdown dependent, and again, with Gronk sort of getting better as last season wore on, with Antonio Brown not really having been there, vulturing as much last year. So I just think both Evans and Godwin are a disaster. And I'm gonna blow your mind with my sleeper. Now, I don't love this player, but he's going so late that it's now finally worth it. And it's Ron Jones Jr. Listen, the guy has talent. Okay, the talent is there. He can catch passes. There's nothing he doesn't do that I don't think he's good at. Right. when he's been on the field, he's been one of the highest ranked PFF skill running backs in the National Football top 10. So the only thing holding him back is the fact that, the creaky old Leonard Fournette, Uncle Lenny, is over there. I mean, come on. I have a feeling Leonard Fournette, all it's going to take is a little hammy pull or something. And the other thing is the Gio Bernard vulture factor coming in on third down. I don't like that one bit, but that's why you're getting Ron Jones Jr. in like round 11 or 12. He's so late in your draft that if something were to happen to Fournette, or if old man Gio doesn't have this massive role, I think that Ron Jones Jr. could eventually deliver at least flex level or hold down the RB2 spot for you for a few weeks. So you're not paying an RB2 price. You're paying like an RB. He's probably going RB 35 or 38. Like, he's going very late enough in your draft where you can take a shot on Ron Jones Jr. And he'll be a useful piece. I actually have a lot of exposure to him this season.
All right, Atlanta Falcons. I'm going to take the Falcons. For me, draft them there's no draft slot too high for Calvin Ridley. I think Calvin Ridley has got as good a shot as any of the top tier wide receivers to end up as wide receiver 1. The targets are just going to be out of control. The air yards, they throw deep to him. They throw short to him. Listen, you and I got him wrong as a prospect. We didn't like him. We liked him. We just didn't. We'd like DJ Moore a little bit more. We'd liked a few other guys. We just got it wrong. And
coming out of the draft, that's right.
Yeah, we thought, hey, he's an older rookie.
We just like DJ Moore just a little bit more. It wasn't so wrong. We took him,
but
right,
that's wrong. But that's wrong because Calvin Ridley is a defensible first round pick, and DJ Moore, you're like in the 5th round. So
he definitely hasn't.
The results are in. We got it wrong. So. We'll take the L on that. My avoidum is Kyle Pitts. I mean, I understand if you want to do it, I'm not going to talk you out of it, but taking him in the 4th round, man, that's a rookie tight end, even if you're treating him like a rookie receiver. And I know that's it. Listen, the reveal on Kyle Pitts in week 1 is going to cause a civil war on Twitter. If he gets 8 for 80 and 2 touchdowns, all the I told you so's are just going to come out. And if he gets 2 catches for 24 yards, the I told you so's are going to come out.
You want to hear something scary? Pitts is going to be week 1 chalk in DFS. There is no doubt in my mind he will be one of the highest owned tight ends in daily fantasy football. So, there's going to be a lot of heartache or a lot of gloating just for that purpose as well. He's priced a little too low on DraftKings. He's going to suck up all of that ownership.
Yeah, so that's my avoidum, my sleeper. Very boring pick, Geek, but Russell Gage is one of the most sound late round picks you can make. In a league where you start 3 wide receivers, you're going to have injuries. You're going to be very happy if you look down on your bench in week 4 and Russell Gage is there getting you 6 for 60 every single week. So he is my sleeper and nobody wants him. You can go a little deeper with Zacchaeus, but we are not going to do that right now.
I just want to give a nod to Mike Davis, though. He's a great pick where you can get him in your draft. Everybody thinks he's sort of like a journeyman, and he is or he isn't. Don't know about his health situation, whatever. The point, you're going to get a workhorse back who catches passes as RB.
The best name
after Kareem Hunt. Hell no. Take Mike Davis. He is a strong fantasy play for as long as he's in the game. And when he comes out, who's the backup over there now? Is it who the hell did they pick up? I can't even remember. But
yeah, the best nickname I've heard for Mike Davis is Bill Simmons on his podcast. He said that Mike Davis is in the perfect situation, so he calls him Mike the Situation.
Yeah, the situation, the sitch. Yeah, that's right. That was a good one. Bill Simmons coined that one.
Yeah, Clipboard Jesus. Gallman's there.
That's right. I love Gallman. I've been trying to trade for Gallman or trade him away. Love Gallman as the backup. Gallman, when Davis gets hurt, you have Gallman waiting in the wings, probably better than Davis. So it's going to work out really well. But you just got to make sure you cuff him with Gallman when you have Mike Davis. Super critical.
All right. So we have 2 teams left. We have the Saints and the Panthers. I'll let you pick, and I'll take the other team.
Let's go Saints here.
Who's your draft him?
My draft him is Kamara. Listen, I was nervous about Kamara in the offseason because we weren't sure if it was going to be Taysom Hill or Jameis Winston getting the job. Jameis Winston got the job, which
so
means
is he?
Kamara
1 second. Is Kamara your consensus 3? Like you're
number
taking
3.
him?
Yeah.
So you know what's funny is Dalton Del Don. He said something interesting the other day on his podcast. He said that Kamara is the 3rd locked-in guy, but he's closer to 2 than he is to 4. Like if you were breaking down the number 3 slot and you had a sliding scale, he's closer to being the number 2 pick than he is the number 4 pick. I like that analysis of it.
I don't agree. I think it's very clear who 1 is, who 2 is, and who 3 is. I don't actually agree with Dalton there, but whatever. right? I like Kamara, right?
Like what I'm saying is that I think you're one second.
There's
I think what you're
after him.
You're not understanding what I'm saying is that he's a defensible number 2 pick. There's no situation where you would take him another running back ahead of him, but you can take him ahead of Cook if you wanted to.
That's a real tier break. I like the term tier break. There's a legit tier break at Kamara. So I love Kamara. My avoid him is Marquez Callaway, guys. I'm sorry, but you know what? The ADP has risen to the point where
do you know where he went the other night in the NFFC? He went in
the 4th round.
Yep, pick 48.
Yeah, he's going in the 4th and 5th round. What? Marquez Callaway? Like, no. So he was great. I love him as a sleeper in the 11th round, the 10th round when we were getting him, when we first discovered what he was doing. But he's risen to the point, especially in the NFFC, in the high dollar leagues, where it's not worth it.
And by the way, NFFC, you and I are in an NFFC league.
I gotta go check that out.
Yeah, the Fab runs tonight. So just
shit, I need to go look at that. I haven't looked at that
in a long
time. So thank you for that reminder.
The other key thing about the NFFC is that even after the Thursday game, you could set your lineup. So if you have any Cowboys or Bucks and they do well and they're on your bench, you could put them in your lineup proactively. So if you have Brady on your bench and he goes great. No, it is fair. The reason they do that is because more drafts are going off on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. So those players that draft in this overall contest will have the ability to draft those players early. So if you had like Cameron Brate, like if he gets like 2 touchdowns, and he'll get drafted on Friday in the NFFC, and then someone will just insert him into their lineup. So that's why we're able to do it too.
Little cheat code there. So where were we at? We got our
you did. I needed to avoid him on the Saints for you.
I did the avoid him, Marquez Callaway, and the sleeper on the Saints. I'm going with I'll go with Bobby Klinkert here. Traquan the Chef. Interesting.
No, avoid him. I said we're doing an avoid him.
The avoid him is Marquez Callaway.
Oh, right. So, yep. So sleeper.
Yeah, I got that, man.
Sorry,
come on. I just ripped on the sexy player of this season, and for the same reason that Callaway, Traquan the Chef, Bobby Klinks likes him even week 1 as an interesting tournament pivot off of the Callaway chalk, but Traquan the Chef, he's done it before. He's been on the team for a bit. He's had big games. He looks to be the kind of wide receiver that will thrive under a slinging it Jameis Winston regime. So give me some Traquan instead. You can get him with the absolute last pick in your draft. I don't care how deep your league is. He is still there. So you get him with the last pick in draft. And I think he's a wide receiver with upside. I know you're going to say avoid him, Michael Thomas. We've already been very clear we're not drafting Michael Thomas at his ADP. So if you were thinking of doing that, please don't. You don't want to put a guy on your bench.
Just to give you the reason is because you can't, in a typical 5-6 bench league, you can't hold them. You're going to miss out on those key waiver wire pickups in week 1 and week 2.
Yeah.
Last team we got here is the Panthers. You and I agree that Robbie Anderson is the absolute best wide receiver to take in the 6th or 7th round. There's literally no one else I'd rather have than him. I would have taken him in the 4th round if I had to. He has played with Sam Darnold before. Sam Darnold trusts him, likes him. The coaching staff trusts him, likes him, extended him. Just take Robbie Anderson. He is the draft. And we're not going to say Christian McCaffrey because
we all know to take Christian McCaffrey.
Right. We all know that. Okay. The avoid him. I hate to say it. It's DJ Moore. We love that guy, but he's going in the 4th round. I just can't. I don't
exposure. I have zero exposure.
And we don't hate him. We like him, but at the price, there's just too many other good options for the uncertainty around him. And then when you talk about sleepers, hold your nose, geek. I still like Sam Darnold. You know what? He's still younger than Joe Burrow. He's always going to be, right? But just take Sam Darnold. Listen, in our 20-round draft, 1 QB, he didn't get drafted. So he is a sleeper. I think that Sam Darnold is set up for a decent year. This coaching staff likes him. They have the opportunity to take
Justin go with Terrence Marshall.
Yeah, that's a great one too.
Or Chuba Hubbard as a really awesome handcuff.
All great picks. Terrace Marshall. Here's the problem with Terrace Marshall is that anytime they go to 2 receiver sets, he's coming off the field. It's going to be Robbie. It's going to be DJ Moore. So he's only coming in when they go 3 wide.
What about when Robbie Anderson, the skinny one, gets hurt? Terrence Marshall comes in, leads teams to fantasy football championships. How about that?
Fair enough. He's a waiver wire guy, but as far as a sleeper, I think that Sam Darnold, if you're in a superflex league, obviously, and if you are playing the weight on, I'd rather have Sam Darnold over Daniel Jones, over Derek Carr, all these guys that go late. Over Tua.
All right, let me throw a couple of names out at you.
But we
Daniel Jones or Zach Wilson.
Yeah, I mean, I would still rather have Sam Darnold. They proactively want him, and we like Zach Wilson, but he is a rookie quarterback. Quarterbacks,
Zach
if you're just playing
Zach all day,
yeah, and no problem. But again, you would agree that who's going to have more? Listen, they're playing each other in week one. We're going to get them see them duel out week one. You know what's great, by the way, and I'm repeating something I've heard on another podcast. But week one, Adam Gase is going to look like an ass no matter what, because either Darnold's going to be good, and he's going to and he'll be like, oh, it was or the Jets are going to be good and win, and everyone's going to say, "Oh, it's Adam Gase's fault." So no matter what happens in that game, Adam Gase is going to not look
a lot of looking like an ass. I think the real thing that's going to make Adam Gase look like an ass is when the high school football team that he's offensive coordinating for sucks.
All right,
this year.
I want Geek. What I need you to do here is do a quick wrap up. Like I'm talking 1 minute or under.
Yeah, no. Here we go, guys. So that's it. That's it for the bold call this season. We are done. Football starts tomorrow. Make sure you go check out this Thrive deal. The extra 2 tickets that they're giving is crazy. You sign up at Thrive Fantasy, thrivefantasy.com, promo code DFSARMY. You get the deposit match and the $20 ticket for the Thursday and the $20 ticket for the Sunday contest. It's a no-brainer, guys. This is how you build a bankroll. Put in $50, play with an account that you're going to have $140 in for a $50 deposit. This real money that you could play and win. And there's so much overlay in those contests. You might win you might win a piece of $100,000 in either of them. They're going to be free money. I promise you. Go sign up at Thrive. And of course, DFS Army, we are running our kickoff promotion. We just started it yesterday. We do not do these during the season. You can never get 20% off except for now. You go to DFS Army, you sign up as a VIP or as a Core 4 monthly. You use promo code KICKOFF and you get 20% off your dues. It is a great deal. Everybody's joining back up right now. We are back testing. We are doing everything we need to get everybody prepped for the season. What I just did was I did hours and hours of back testing live stream. I relived the entire 2020 season. I lived the ups, the downs, the highs and the lows with our subs. Those videos are out there. We're ready for it for this year. Get in there. Promo code KICKOFF. That's going to do it for the bold call, guys, this season. Good luck in your fantasy football leagues. Says, what do you got to say? Last second advice for the people who are drafting tonight.
Yeah, man, just don't overreact. Tonight, if you're drafting, just go get the guys you want. Ignore ADP for the most part after the first 4 or 5 rounds. That doesn't mean reach up 3 rounds, but if you're drafting tonight, just get the players you want. Don't have regret. Go down with the guys you want. And as our friend Sigmund Bloom said on his podcast, these next few days are like the roller coaster, ticking, tick, 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 tick. And then on Sunday, boom, it kicks off and we all start screaming. I love that analogy that he made, so I wanted to pass it on to the people watching here. All right, guys, we'll see you soon. Geek will be back Saturday. Someone asked what time you're going live on Saturday.
All right, Players Club, guys, always 2 o'clock on Saturdays. DFS Army VIPs only. I've got a couple other things I'm doing tonight. Premiere of my show with Anthony Gargano called the Speakeasy. Look for that on my Twitter feed. I'll be posting the link to that show tomorrow. The first playbook of the season. That's DFS and betting angles. Myself and John Statsational Alessia. That will be right here on this channel. Look for that tomorrow. We'll go through all of the games for the main slate. We'll pick 4 core games. We're going to dive deep for betting angles and DFS angles. You will love that show. The playbook Thursdays.
All right. We'll see you next year, everybody.